Okay, so here's what I'm saying, right?
Mm,
Are you ready to hear it? Are you ready?
go on. What are you saying?
I think that because I am pansexual, if I were to create a dream throuple for myself, which included celebrities, I should have multiple options. Because you're
Okay.
straight, you could only have one.
See, that's just not fair because, I want to get the one hall pass. What do you get a whole, like, what's
It's
a
not
hall
my
pass for
fault
like
that you're
multiple things?
straight. It's not my fault you're straight. So, like, as a
The,
pansexual woman, I can have a celebrity dream throuple with trans people, with non-binary people, with men, with women, with a combination of both. I can have
mm,
whatever celebrity combination I want. It's not my fault that you're straight and you only have one option. Okay? That's all I'm
this,
gonna
this
say.
this just feels like you're at the buffet and I'm at like the cafeteria lunch line where I just get what they give me.
Okay, like take your tuna sandwich and go. Like
Damn.
all, all
Well,
I'm
all
gonna
right
say
then.
is that I have options. And I think that if you are not strictly homosexual or heterosexual, you should be able to explore all those options in your dream scenarios. That's it. That's all
Well,
I'm gonna say.
that's nice. I have a chicken sandwich. I guess I could decide if I want it with mayo or not, and that would be the big difference for me.
And I have surf and turf. Thank you. At the alternative seafood buffet, there's also Asian food. There's all sorts of food at my buffet. I have all the food.
Quit showing off.
You're welcome. Anyway, now that you guys have experienced our fun slash casual slash totally serious argument,
Argument a strong word.
I mean, I guess it's not really an argument if I'm right. So there's
Mm,
that.
moving on. Yeah.
I'm Jen,
Oh, I'm Sham,
and we're
and we're
Mark.
monogamish.
Oh,
Have you heard
it'll
of that time? No?
almost, maybe not. We'll get there eventually, I think. Today, as we referenced last time, we're talking about celebrities.
Yeah,
I
that
know you're
was our,
thinking,
our big cliffhanger at the end. Yeah.
yeah, celebrities. I know you're thinking like, oh, how trite. Who cares about celebrities? Well, no one really cares per se, unless
People
you know.
clearly care.
But I mean, like,
There's a
it's
whole lot of
just,
work and like profession dedicated to celebrities.
oh, okay, and we're not in that profession. We're just talking about this as it relates to our topic, which is, non-monogamy, polyamory, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. So
All the etceteras.
I don't really care, about the Kardashians or whatever, because one, they're not non-monogamous. That's not
Oh,
interesting at all.
imagine if they were.
I probably still
That's
wouldn't
like
care.
five more TV shows that I would not watch. No offense.
No offense to the Kardashians, but also I probably wouldn't care then either.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, we're talking about celebrity non-monogamy today. Is this expected as par for the course? Is this something that other celebs expect when they date each other? Like, this is like a real thing that, because you always hear about celebs cheating on,
Yeah.
their partners or whatever. You're like, but is it really cheating? Like,
Yeah, and there is that kind of weird power thing in a relationship because obviously a celebrity is gonna have like more, they're out there more, they're desired more, and they have more leverage in the relationship because they're a celebrity and they're like they have all the excuses of, well, I'm on the road all the time, I'm in the public eye, you can't expect me to be treated like anyone else, so it's a weird power dynamic sometimes between them. So that's the thing, like if a celebrity is non-monogamous, it begs the question, is it like genuine or is it
yeah,
just because they're
are
a
they just
celebrity?
cheating, or is it an accepted non-monogamous relationship? Like, obviously, since we referenced the Kardashians before, I'll just make my one Kardashian reference again for the rest of the show and be done with it. That Khloe Kardashian, Tristan Thompson thing, like, dude, he was Jamaican. You should have known better, first of all. He's
Right.
also a baby, second of all. Third,
Mm,
but, she thought that they were in a monogamous relationship. Is that what he thought? I mean, he's a pretty famous basketball player. Is it that he thought that the rules were different for him than they were, for anyone else being in whatever relationship scenario that would be? And it's the same with pretty much all the other celebs that you can see when I talk about quote unquote cheating. And I say quote unquote cheating because one, cheating is never the end of a relationship. in my opinion. It's something you can work through, technically,
Yeah.
if you so decide to. And two, because this is a very visible person, them doing something like that means that there is a very high percentage chance of them getting caught.
Yeah.
So, is it that you've
That's another
accepted
fun
this
thing about
acceptable
celebrities. Yeah.
losses? Yeah. I don't
'Cause,
know.
like, you have to know.
You have to
So,
know.
so there must be
Like,
something in their heads of like, well, if I get caught, it wouldn't be that bad. Because there's no way in hell they're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm definitely getting away with this. There is no way none of the 500 million people who know who I am is gonna see me out with this, whoever this is, and not say anything. So,
yeah, I mean, and we'll jump back to referencing Usain Bolt and Casey. Like we speculated last time that there was like a maybe an arrangement there because, the rumors of him cheating on her and having
mm,
been caught on camera kissing other people and some girl's bed in Brazil or whatever, that was also a thing, and she didn't
yeah,
say a word. Is it that this is something she expected? I mean, he's the most famous track star of our generation, if
yeah,
not like the past like 2, 3, 4 decades.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure I would say ever. I will fight anyone who wants to argue that point. I mean, who else?
who else? Literally, who else? Like, if you have someone, DM me on Twitter about it at Monogamish Pod. I would love to know who else you think is as great as Usain Bolt. I'll wait.
Or even as famous as a runner.
Yeah, or same as the track star. Yeah, so I mean, it's like even looking at stuff like that. I mean, it's just like she is not a quote unquote famous person in the way that he is. I mean, she's popular in Jamaica for what she does, but she
Yeah.
only became popular because she was his girlfriend.
I mean, yeah. Call a spade a spade. That's just how it is.
Yeah. And so
Can't
it's
let
kind
it
of
go.
an unequal balance of power in the relationship because she's quote unquote a normal person and he is this, like legendary international superstar.
And
So
then another weird thing about it is that there's a lot of assumptions we can be made because we're saying that, she's not saying anything, she's not making it, not making any public statements. But then if they were just a couple off the street, wouldn't be expecting your neighbor next door to make a public statement to like the community if you caught them cheating. Like,
I mean, I would like to know just because I like to know, but I wouldn't expect it.
yeah.
No.
Like, on the bulletin board, like, oh yes, so we're working it out, everything is fine. No, we are allowed to cheat or whatever. So we can't expect that from them. So I would expect it from like celebrities or whatnot.
Yeah, I think we have this unhealthy obsession, and use the word obsession because it is an obsession for some people
Oh
with
yeah.
access to their lives. We want to know everything about these people. We want to have follow them around with cameras and take their pictures. We want to like see how they treat people in public. We want to know what they eat. We want to know what kind of coffee they drink. We want to know what clothes they wear when they're going to Target. Like it's very weird. And
Even
so
though
it
oddly you just described like what life is like in 2019 for us regular people now,
yeah.
but that's a topic for a different podcast. We're
Wait,
not.
do you want to know what I'm wearing to Target? Because it's probably just my PJs.
I mean, I guess I care. Care a little
But yeah,
bit.
a little bit. Okay. But since we're talking about real celebrities, I'm only a celebrity in my mind right now. So, and even then I wouldn't want to be followed around all the time. So
Yeah.
let's dive in with some people that we didn't talk about before. And these people are confirmed as having been in polyamorous or consensually non-monogamous relationships.
Yeah. So it's not
Consensual.
like last time where we just kind of had a bunch of speculation and talking mostly out of our ass. We actually have some details this time.
We have details. Number one for me, which was the most exciting thing that I discovered when researching this,
Mm,
even though it just fell into my lap.
uh-huh.
I wish he would fall into my lap.
Oh, I know this is going.
It's Jadena. I
All
know.
right.
It's
Enough
Jadena.
about your fantasy Throuple or whatever. It's fine.
Please
Stay on
leave me to
topic. Very
fantasize about my
much.
man. Leave me
No,
and my
no,
man
we're
alone. Thank you.
trying
I
to
just want
stay
to
on
let you
topic.
guys know. He said that he's previously engaged in polyamorous relationships. He's dated women who've dated other men, and some were bisexual. I believe. I don't want to assume their sexuality, but they've also dated other women. And he, of course, was dating other women at the time, and it's something that he says that he's open to doing again. It's acceptable in certain cultures. His family is from Nigeria, and he talks about some other family members having multiple wives. So it's a kind of thing where he's pretty much come out and said, I've been polyamorous before. I'm okay with it happening again. And I'm also looking for a wife. And all I have to say is, call me.
Please keep professional. All right, stay on topic. I will. moving like right back to the topic at hand. This came from a Breakfast Club interview, which isn't always the best source of any kind of information.
But he said it with his own two mouths, okay?
Yeah, so we can believe his parts. I mean, how they responded to it and talked about it, where it was not the most encouraging and not something we would support ourselves. But the important part of the interview is his parts. Them, they're just there to, because it's their show.
Be trashy. They're just there to be trashy.
Yeah. They're just there for the views. We don't care about what they have to say, but what he said is what's important. And yeah, so that's interesting of him to admit that. And I mean, I don't say it's brave because you are who you are, but we're not exactly in a super accepting society of non-monogamy right now. I would say it's getting better than it was before, but so it's cool that he came out and said that, especially in the black community, because
it's
kind of why
deep.
shows like ours exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because, like, when he's talking about this, they were like, whoa, you let your bitch fuck another nigga? And he was like, yeah. And they were like, what? Yeah, it was the whole thing. It was just trash. Their responses were trash, but his responses were perfect and they were gold. And that's all I'm going to say about it. It's your turn.
My turn. Oh, as in more about Jada, or can I move on? Can I leave your precious Jada behind?
I mean, I guess you can if you need to talk about somebody else.
All right. Well, another big-ish celebrity that is confirmed non-monogamous is I'm gonna butcher this name despite watching this man many, many times. Thomas Middleditch. Middleditch. Two words, middle and ditch. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know. There's a show called Silicon Valley on HBO. It's the show that wasn't Game of Thrones. It's still around. And yeah, it's funny. I recommend it. It's like a better Big Bang Theory, I guess. I don't know. Because about a bunch of nerds, but they actually do something in this show. It's very interesting, but that's beside the point. Thomas Middleditch he's a star of the show, and in a recent article in the Daily Beast, he comes out and says that him and his wife have a kind of open relationship. It's not, so I'm not entirely sure what I would define it as, which one of the many lovely names that we gave out yesterday.
Yeah.
Or yesterday on the first episode.
The last time.
Last time on Monogamish. Yeah, well, he discusses that, one day he went to his wife and just said, we can't, this version of our relationship needs to change. It needs to be more non-traditional because, as he says it, he's all gas and she's all brakes. So I'm guessing that means he's more, I guess, he needs more, like either sexually or relationship wise. And he was saying he still loves her, but he doesn't, but he needs, other, something else from the world, or, I don't know how to best explain it, but, you get what I'm saying, like.
Yeah. I mean, just to let you know that the headline says, swinging saved my marriage. Like, that's the headline. Like, and so that was all over Twitter. On that section of Twitter, I guess. It wasn't a very popular tweet that I noticed, but, I guess if you knew who he was, it would have been important to you. Yeah. I didn't. I'm not going to lie.
I know he is, and, I'm happy that it did, because from what I gather, it seemed like whatever was happening in their relationship, because I don't go into too much detail, is that he needed more from the relationship, but he didn't want to lose her. So he either needed more sex or just wanted to explore more, but he didn't want to lose her, so he went to her with this. He even said it here that he expected her to, tell him to fuck off and, wanted to move on and expected him to dump her, but he went with her and was open with her, as you should be in any relationship, open and honest. And she was like, all right, we're going to make this work, and it's going to happen. So from what I see here, I said it doesn't fall under any rule. He himself identifies as a swinger. Fair.
Okay, so I guess they're just swinging.
Yeah, even though he hates the term. A lot of swingers hate the term. Because, it's very old and, kind of hippie sounding, but it's all we've got to work with. We can't change it, We'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it is. He says swinging, so we're gonna go with swinging. And I mean, it's great that he was able to have that conversation with her and just kind of like be 100% upfront about what he wanted and not wanting to lose her, but also taking the risk. I think that's very important. Communication is a very important part of any relationship, especially when you're transitioning from a traditional monogamous experience into a non-monogamous experience. I feel like communication has to be ramped up like times 1,000, which of course brings us to my second favorite man because he wears skirts and dresses. Nico Tortorella.
Who is this? Oh, right.
Yeah, he's on Younger. He is pretty much one of the best characters on Younger, so whatever. I mean, Hilary Duff, you're great and all, but I mean, you've seen Nico's legs in the skirt, right? Like, you know
Elizabeth
better.
Wise on the show? Okay, now I'm
Yeah,
interested.
she is. She is. She's on the show. It's actually a really, really fun show. I think it'll be entertaining for you to watch. But anyway, he's been with his partner, Bethany Myers, for quite some time. They got married a couple of years ago. And I'm unfortunately misgendering Nico because Nico now goes by them. Nico considers themselves to be pansexual, and Bethany considers herself to be gay. I think they both use the term them, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So they have their terms.
Let me look it up because I'm almost sure of something.
Yeah, no, I think
There's definitely a they between them.
Yeah, I think Nico is a them, Nico is a they, and they are pansexual. And Bethany considers themselves to be gay. Yes, even though they primarily date women. And they, of course, they have done several interviews with The Advocate, with, like Elle Australia, there's just a bunch of information about them. They're pretty active on Instagram. They posted stuff from their wedding day, but they were together for about 13 years, and they were pretty much before they got married, I believe. And they were like very polyamorous this entire time. And there's like a caption.
Monogamy can last. I'm sorry, go ahead.
There's a quote that they wrote about their relationship saying, about their marriage, actually. Most think that we planned this and one day we decided we'd be multiple love kind of people. We didn't. It's just the way our relationship developed over 12 years. We became polyamorous without ever really trying, and we let each other go so often. I guess we finally realized it's the reason we are impenetrable. It's hard to break something that bends. And I think that's like very, very like deep and emotional. Yeah. It's a beautiful quote that Bethany posted on their Instagram. It's very important. I mean, and they're very open about it, because Nico plays a straight cisgender character on Younger. He's like that hot younger guy. That's kind of, that's part of the whole premise of the show. Nico's character is a tattoo artist and is a man and is like a man's man, but also like younger than the romantic lead. And they describe themselves as emotionally fluid more than sexually fluid. And they don't necessarily link sex acts with sexuality. And, it's just very interesting that they're a queer person, they're queer people, and they're also operating in the polyamorous sphere. And it's really important. It's really great. And I love it.
Yeah, and it kind of shows that poly itself can also take so many different forms, poly and just open relationships in general, non-monogamy in general, because, already have an open relationship, but also the non-gendering of it all makes it the poly, makes it, it's like a whole spectrum of, things mixing together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's now just like a queer poly relationship as opposed to just a hetero poly relationship. Because, I think that we are exposed to a lot of hetero relationships more than anything else.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, so I really love Nico, and Bethany is, putting themselves forward in the world. I love it.
That's good to know. That's interesting. Maybe I'll check out this little show of yours, and I think I might actually save that quote. That the first time I'm actually hearing it, so that actually applies to my relationship or my life, I should say.
Yeah, I will definitely send it to you. Yeah.
I would like to say I would get that tattooed on myself, but I'm kind
Probably
of a little baby. I can't take tattoos, so I might get the baby version of a tattoo, which is like a printout on paper.
Ooh, a printout
paper
on
doesn't
paper.
cry when you tattoo it, or if it does, we don't hear it.
You won't cry either. I promise you. You'll be fine.
Oh, you lied to me. Anyway.
Let's see. Who else do you have on this list? Harper's Bazaar in Australia.
Yeah,
Australian one. Harper's Bazaar Australia put out an article talking about celebrities and open relationships, right? So Nico and Bethany are one of them. So I've already talked about them. Who else is on this list? Tell me, Sham.
All right. Now, I think this is a couple we mentioned before, Will and Jada.
Did we? Yeah. I don't know if we did. I think we were saving it for this episode, actually.
Oh, okay then. Never mind. Forget I said that. Yes, so Will and Jada, very very lovely couple, very well known for just being different as far as like how they raise their kids, how they live their lives. I mean, Will is like what 50, 60, and he's just out there like being an IG influencer and a YouTuber and
I mean, and
like
she has her own show also. She has Red
yeah.
Table Talk, and they're like a powerhouse. I mean, she used to be the lead in a rock band.
Oh,
Like,
so
yeah,
they're already just
legendary
like
stuff.
the most interesting people. And
Yeah,
then now to add but the non-monogamous are open, as this article says, part of their relationship is more. It's interesting because they don't outright say that they have a proper open relationship where they are currently either dating or having sex with anyone, but they do say that the trust they have in their relationship gives the freedom for when it comes to fidelity. So I'm guessing they're saying if they wanted to, they could either date or have
yeah,
sex outside of their primary relationship.
yeah, I
So
guess.
it's like I think it's like saying it without saying it. So so it's like they're saying, yeah, it could happen. It's not necessarily happening,
Yeah, and
but
they
it's
don't they
good.
don't consider themselves even like husband and wife anymore. In their episode of Red Table Talk, she talked there's a term they use to describe each other now, their relationship. I forget what it is. I'll have to like link it in the show notes, the episode and the
Yeah,
quote. But
they
yeah.
they are. Yeah, I don't think any labels that we mere humans can come up with can even fit them. They're in their own world and their own
They
kind
are.
of
I mean,
lifestyle.
there's been rumors about them being open or poly for a long time though. There's rumors that they're both bisexual and all this stuff. And I mean, and we know that their kids are. Well, I know for sure Willow is considered bisexual. I don't remember if Jaden was bi or just queer, or
Yeah,
just being Jaden.
yeah,
Um,
he's just Jade.
he's just Jaden.
Oh,
But
speaking of
yes,
Red Table Talk, you mentioned it. Episode that we watched. We may cover it later, but there's a great episode on an actual throuple, I believe, on the show. It's on
yeah,
Red
yeah,
Table
yeah.
Talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I
nice
mean,
little thing.
they're normies, but I'll also link to that in the show notes so you guys can have a look at it and tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Um, the next couple on the list is Ethan Hawke and his wife, Ryan. They've been married for about, 11 years now, and they're very committed to each other, but he said that they're unrealistic expectations that monogamy is placed on relationships, right? So that people have such, and I quote, childish view of monogamy and fidelity. And he's cheated, so he's bad. She's cheated, so she's bad, as opposed to recognition that our species is not monogamous. He said this to Porter magazine. And he said that sexual fidelity can't be the whole thing you hang your relationship on. So it's not that also he didn't actually come out and say that they were in an open relationship, but he's pretty much said, I mean, they've been married for 11 years, so I have to hope that whatever
Yeah.
arrangement they come to,
He's at least
it's
endorsing the
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, if he believes that monogamy is unrealistic,
I
then
mean, I
stands
would
to reason.
imagine if you think something is not realistic, you would not subscribe to it.
Yeah, it stands to reason that there is a belief that they are engaged in this deviant polyamorous behavior. I love a little deviance in the morning, though.
I mean, of course, morning, night. Uh,
All the times.
all right, rounding out the list. I'm trying to find somebody that I know because a lot of people are here.
You
You know what?
don't know these people? Come on. You don't know
I
Tom
know
Ford?
some
No,
of
no,
them.
I'm going to talk about it. Tom Ford and Richard Buckley. Tom Ford, the
The guy from
amazing
the rap
fashion
song.
designer, the designer that makes the suits.
Oh, is that what he does?
Yes.
I was never sure. He keeps getting reference. I'm like, all right, I know he does something that rich people like. I just don't
Tom
know
Ford is the
what
suit
it is.
guy. He's a fashion designer. And he married Richard Buckley, who I guess if you were not into fashion, you don't know who he is, but he's a fashion journalist.
Oh, right.
Anyway.
Definitely something. Yeah, check out Richard Buckley's articles all the time. Yeah, you know.
Totes. But yeah, anyway, they met in 2014, and Tom Ford says that it was like love at first sight, but monogamy isn't really their speed, and that he thinks monogamy is artificial and it doesn't come naturally to them. So obviously they're doing their thing. I mean, would this be considered kind of like, what do you call it when it's an older man and a younger man? Is it like an older man's like a silver fox, right? Because Richard's hair is
Yeah,
very silver, and he's like 70. And Tom is definitely not 70. So
yeah. I was thinking like my first thought was like, yo, sugar daddy and sugar baby, but I'm like, wait, no,
but
but Tom Ford himself is rich, so it can't be
Tom
that.
Ford is the rich. But
So
yeah.
it's proper love here. I don't know what and we need some friends in the gay community. Tell me what this pairing is called. I know it's not bear, but it's one of those weird animal combinations.
I feel like it's there. I'm gonna ask some questions and I'm gonna put that in the show notes too.
All right, yeah, we'll find out and put in show notes for you. And yes, we have show notes that will explain and give more detail in everything that we discuss. Give you a little more links, more in depth, so you can go look at the links and look at the articles that we mention, and see for yourself. Maybe get a different interpretation than we get.
Yeah, there's a thing.
Running on the list. Good old Brangelina. I know these people. They were in the movie that I liked. And,
Yeah.
So,
Angelina Jolie. Ugh, what a woman.
Indeed. Now, I mean, this one is interesting because I believe their relationship came from or it's assumed it was started from a infidelity on
I mean,
Brad's part.
that is the assumption that they met on Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Brad cheated on Jennifer Aniston, and they supposedly got together. I mean, at that point in time, Angelina, I think, was already single because she and Billy Bob had been divorced already, from what I remember. And she had her daughter and her son. Yeah, because she would have had Zara and Maddox already, I believe.
Okay, see, now you're losing me. I know the people. I don't know the details of their lives. But, back to the article. They said that, this relationship is about mutual understanding of freedom. I like that wording. And they doubt that fidelity is absolutely essential for a relationship. She told German magazine, "Oh boy, das Neue."
Das Neue. I don't know.
Yes, it's worse to leave your partner and talk badly about him afterwards. Neither Brad or I have ever claimed that living together means to be chained together. We make sure that we never restrict each other.
Sounds like
there's only one part I don't like.
To me. Sounds just like other bitches to me, and I wish it was me.
I mean, have we completed the throuple? Is it Jada and Angelina?
That's one of them.
That's one of them. Wow, look at her.
Remember, I just told you I have to have multiple options.
Oh, this buffet. It's going back for seconds and thirds. Let me enjoy my multiple chicken sandwiches.
That's right. Enjoy your chicken sandwich. Put one with bacon, one with cheese. You good.
Oh, got it. All right. Yes. I mean, so, yeah. Simple work. Pretty basic there. Laid out. Yeah, they don't need fidelity. And I think, wait, no. Is there one more? But yeah.
Yeah, and there's one more. It's Tilda Swinton, but this one is more of a rumor, which I don't understand it's even in there. It's Tilda Swinton. There's rumors that she's involved in a 3 relationship with the father of her children and her boyfriend. She's clarified the rumors in the Daily Mail, which of course is one of the worst publications ever. But she's just like, the father of my children and I are good friends, and now I'm in a happy other relationship. We're all good friends. It's a very happy situation. Pretty much. But she does say life doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to have compassion with yourself and stop blaming yourself when things do get complicated. But what is the complication, Tilda? Tell me about it.
Yeah, definitely an air of something that she's not telling us.
She's not telling me everything. And you know what? She's entitled to her privacy. Go you, Tilda. I respect you. But also, don't lead me on. Tell me what I want to know. Tell me what's happening.
I like that all of these celebrities have they have kind of a philosophy or a nice quote that their explanation of monogamy and fidelity and all of these things. That's why I could never be a celebrity, because if you came to me and asked me why I was in an open relationship, I'd just be like, I don't know. I like fucking my wife, but I like fucking not my wife also. That's
I like my wife, but also not my wife.
Yeah. Yeah. I like my wife, but also not my wife. Sham 2019.
I mean, she was Sham 2020 now. Like, it's almost a year.
Yeah, we get, that'll be the first merch. That's
No, I mean, my reasons are not as basic, probably because I don't have a wife or a husband. Yeah. But no, I mean, I realized that I liked more and I wanted more, and give me more. Like the Britney Spears song, give me. All right.
It might not be fair for you, because I was gonna say, of the celebrities we discussed today, which one do you think which explanation of relationship would you think fits you more?
Probably I mean, because I mean, at this point in my life, I don't have a primary relationship
Mm.
with one person. And so all those codes mean something to me in different ways. I mean, like, of course, I love Nico and Bethany's code because I think that's just like important to life in general. Um, and I do believe monogamy works for some people.
Yeah,
I don't think it works for
well,
everybody. So, I mean, it's kind of like people who are like, oh, it's an unrealistic expectation. I don't believe that either. And I do think just all of them speak to me in different ways, except for the one that says that monogamy is not realistic. I
yeah,
think that monogamy is realistic for certain periods of time,
yeah,
and that's how I will describe it.
for certain.
I have been monogamous before and been unhappy after a period of time, and I didn't fall out of love with my partner. It was just that I needed something else. So that's probably the best way of putting it. I mean, I'm aware of myself. I mean, if we're talking about which of these couples I want to be in the middle of,
Oh
it's
God.
gonna be Will and Jada.
Okay, fair. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, like, hello,
I could get
triple
behind that.
chocolate, triple
Yeah,
chocolate divine. Okay,
so much
okay.
chocolate. Also, so much money. Then again, so much money now, these people. Uh, yeah, I think I kind of identify with Middleditch and what's her name, Molly? Probably because Middleditch is a big nerd. I'm a big nerd, so I can see with him. Even though I can't say it seems based on this uh article that he's more active, which is not necessarily the case in my current relationship. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like I'm trying,
No, I
but
mean,
that's how it is. It is
it's
how it
different
is.
for guys and girls, I think. And I mean, like, actually,
There's another
since we're
episode.
talking about celebs, I want to talk about this hip hop trope, right? So
Okay.
and money in general for celebrities, like, is money the denominator that makes it different between being a normal person who is not monogamous and a famous person who's monogamous? Like, is the money that's the difference? Is it that makes it most socially acceptable? Like, I think it's a maybe. People
It's for
assume
some people.
it's for some
I
people.
think
Like,
definitely people who would see an article like this and be like, okay, that's fine for them. They may think of it just because there's money, but not that could never happen like here. It could never happen in my neighborhood. There are definitely people who
yeah,
think that.
I've heard it before, and we're like, oh, that's great for celebrities can do that shit, but not me. I'm not wild like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's still just people at the end of the day. Like I said, in hip hop, we talk about, fucking bunch of bitches. Ludacris had that famous song, I got hoes.
Oh, so many hoes.
I got hoes. Yeah, it's not hoes in different area codes. Like, it's not monogamous for sure because he's not, but it's on one-sided for sure because do these hoes know about each other? Are they all cool with it? Is it just expected? Like, I don't know. Like, is it because he's a rapper that it's okay, that it's a given? Like, sports stars, like I talked about Tristan Thompson and the cheating and stuff. Like, we talked about Usain Bolt. We talked about these celebrities in these comments. Like, is it because there's an expectation of non-monogamous encounters and it doesn't matter if they're married or not?
Yeah, sorry, I've been stuck because I've been trying to think like what would be a better remix of I Got Hoes in different area codes for non-monogamy. I'm just like different area codes, but they both know.
Maybe.
Still working on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I get what you're saying about the celebrities and the money and that influencing everything that, because they're just in the public eye and you're
Yeah.
thinking like,
And
oh,
if you're
it's
dating
because of the
normal
money.
people, there's also that issue there too. Like, a normal person is coming from a life where they don't have this kind of exposure. And you're dating someone that all of a sudden it's just like they're hoeing, they're cheating, they're doing whatever. And even if you have a private arrangement, it's not like you look dumb.
Even though I think part of it is that if you're a celebrity, you're gonna end up having to admit it because as we said before, you're in the public eye. So if you're cheating, people are gonna find out. Similarly, if you're non-monogamous, people are gonna find out because eventually they're gonna see you with someone else, and they're
Yeah.
gonna ask questions, and so eventually you have to address the press and make lovely quotes like these people all made. Whereas if you're let's say poor, you can sneak around more because ain't nobody watching what you're doing. Nobody cares other than your immediate family, I guess. So probably that's another reason why people would say, oh, this couldn't happen here. This couldn't happen with regular people because they don't know.
True.
I
I
mean,
mean,
hey,
so it can be a lot more private if you're not like out there. You're right. You're right. And one more thing I want to talk about. I mean, like I said, people say poor people, people who are not rich like them can't be considered to be monogamous. We know it's not true, but in Jamaica, there's this dancehall culture that exists. Men are supposed to be galluses, man are gallus, man up north gal. My have enough girl like girl and I
Oh
bungalow.
yeah, and of course, the wifey and matey and all that.
Yeah, the wife mate
So,
argument. I
which
love my mate. So there's a song, I love my mate.
yeah, we're gonna get
Like,
into way detail on that in a later episode. But as of like right now, it's like yeah. So traditionally, the wifey and matey dynamic usually means cheating. Usually means the man has his wifey, which is his primary, let's say, and the matey or the mate. I forget. There's some weird wording to it. But the other
yeah.
one is who he's cheating on the wifey with. But then more recently, there's been a kind of a lot more in the pop culture of like, oh, the wifey knows about the mate and is fine with it. She, as long as the matey don't pass her place or something. So I see
Please
these
don't
like I
pass
hear
the
these,
place with me. Don't pass the place with me, young lady.
yeah,
Don't forget
but
about the
it's
Jin
like
screeches of the world.
yeah, but I'm saying like technically, if you look at it, that's consent right there. If you're saying that it's okay that my man has an outside relationship as long as he follows they both follow a certain set of rules or guidelines. That's very similar to an open relationship. That's similar to my relationship. I,
I
you
mean, yeah,
know,
y'all got your rules and you do whatever you're supposed to do. And I mean,
and as long as nobody passes their place or breaks any of the rules, we're all fine. So, it's one thing like I see the it's like non-monogamy exists in the world in places that people don't want to accept it. So I think yeah, this
mhm.
is a proof that yeah, it can exist in any income, any class level, any community. It just takes different forms, I guess you could say.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, we could talk about this in the Caribbean context. Like, how many people that come from a small quote unquote town in country where them have them grandfather and all their cousins happen to live in the houses nearby because them grandfather didn't have other woman.
Boy, boy, oh boy. I mean, look, we all look. If you're from the Caribbean, we just have to accept that our grandparents were whores. I mean, look,
Dirty assholes.
most of the grandfathers, but hey, I still love my grandpa and all my wonderful aunties. But yeah, that's just like, and that's the thing that's just accepted in some people. That are just like, oh yeah, man, that's him. That's the term, the village ram. I think that's what
Yeah,
people say in
something so,
Trinity.
yeah.
Where it's
I
like,
mean,
yeah, he's the man that's just known to having all the pain about the place, and all the wives are just fine with it because they're just like, yeah, that's how it go. Once him come and bring bread for the family or whatever, it's all right.
yeah,
And
once you mind them, it's all right.
yeah,
But I mean, yeah, it's just
so
it's just one
that's
of those
consent.
things. I mean, we're gonna of course dive even deeper into quote unquote normal non-monogamous relationships, of course, as the show continues. This is
Hmm.
really just like a fun segue into like celebrity stuff and how they're just like
Yeah,
normal people only with more money.
but there's just so much to digest and talk about just in
Yeah.
non-monogamy in general. Hey, maybe someone should start a podcast about it, and that's what we did. So there's so much more to discuss, and we're going to discuss it as long as you have us.
People to talk to who are experts in this situation. It's just like there's a lot of stuff. But we thank you so much for listening to us today. So happy to have you guys once again for an episode of Monogamish.
Hmm.
Again, we're going to be dropping links to these articles and all sorts of stuff in show notes. If you have any questions, you can email us at monogamishpod@gmail.com, DM us on Twitter at monogamishpod. Um,
I
we're just,
think
yeah.
we're on all the things. What Spotify?
Mhm.
We're not sure if well, as of right now, we're not on Apple. No, we're on Apple Podcasts, right?
No, not yet. I mean,
Not yet.
so
So we're
we do our podcast through Anchor, and I'm doing it through Anchor means that Anchor automatically uploads to certain websites for us.
mm,
But every website will has to approve it on an individual basis. So right now we're approved on Breaker, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Spotify,
yeah.
and of
Oh, and
course
we're
on the
also on
Apple page and
SoundCloud.
stuff. And we're also on SoundCloud. We upload to that manually. So yeah, I mean, we really, really just kind of we're trying to get everywhere at once. Hopefully by the next episode, everything is
Yeah.
all up where it's supposed to be.
So I don't even know
Our
if I can say like and subscribe yet because I don't know if you can like or subscribe anywhere. But if you
you can
can,
you can like and repost on SoundCloud. You can follow, of course, on SoundCloud, on Twitter.
yeah,
I don't know how Anchor following works, to be honest. You can follow on I think most things are following now.
yeah.
You don't just like stuff.
Oh
Ugh,
yeah. So
weird.
so yeah, like us places, follow us places. You know, join us. Give us feedback. Let us know what did you like, what did you not like. other than my voice.
They
Let us
like
know
your voice just fine, babe. Like, don't get in your feelings about it.
I'm in my feelings. I'm a very emotional person.
In next episode, we're going to be talking about cheating and jealousy.
Oh
So,
damn! Let's
yeah,
reveal.
we're going to be diving right into it, just like in it, because we talked about it a bit with the celebrities. Like, is it infidelity? Is it consensual? And I mean, of course, you have to wonder, like, if this thing is happening in the public eye, and you quote unquote are finding out about it through these mediums, like, how would you feel?
Oh, there's just so much. We can't wait to dive in with you.
Yeah. So again, I'm Jen,
Oh, I'm Sham, and
and we're
we're
monogamous.
we're monogamish. We've been we're monogamish. We fix that.
Yeah. Was it like what do we someone call it? So Dan Savage says monogamish. Was like monogamy with a squish around the edges. So like we're gonna say like monogamy with some vibes on the side.
Oh, ooh, that's nice. I like
Yeah,
that.
monogamy with vibes on the side. Yeah,
That'll be our second shirt.
yeah, monogamy with vibes on the side. That's what we at.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. XOXO. Bye.
Yeah.